Hey there, MiniWarGamers. MiniWarGaming Owen here, bringing you another Tactica video here. This time, I'm going over Dark Elf Crossbowman, one of my favorite, or rather, my favorite of all of the Dark Elf core choices, until I can get Dark Riders, of course. But for now, Dark Elf Crossbowman and the damage they can do. So, here is the Dark Elf Crossbowman Tactica video. Here we have 10 Dark Elf Crossbowmen. Now the minimum you can take these units in is a squad of 10 or more. And there's not a limit on that in fantasy. A lot of 40k, they've got between 5 and 10, or 10 and 30, and 30 and 60, or whatever the number may be. Fantasy, you don't have to worry about that, so you can bring as many of these as you want in a unit. Now, personally, I would only recommend about taking 10 to 20 of them tops. And the main reason for that is you can only shoot if you're in the front 2 ranks. Now your standard crossbowman, having a stat line of a regular elf, he's still rather a solid unit. He's got a high ballistic skill, high weapon skill, very high initiative, and a high leadership, which are things you definitely need. Equipment-wise though, there isn't a lot that they can take. They have their repeater crossbows, which are great armor-piercing, rapid-firing crossbow bolts at 24-inch range. And they also have light armor as a base. Now, they do cost more than a regular Dark Elf warrior. You can also give them shields, which give them a total of a 5-up armor save. And they come with hand weapons. And of course, they have Eternal Hatred, which all Dark Elves have. Lined up like this in 2 ranks, the Dark Elf warriors are devastating. They can throw out 20 shots right there at a rather high ballistic skill and very long range. I wouldn't recommend bringing much larger units than these. You can, with giving them the shield upgrade, make them as good as a regular infantry in almost any of the other armies, minus the, of course, like Warriors of Chaos and the high powerful ones. But for a basic infantryman, they've got a high initiative, and with the hand weapon and shield, they'll then get a parry save as well. They are more expensive than a warrior, but the big thing you get with that is your crossbow. So now you have the ability to shoot and hold the ground in combat. The downside of this, you lose the big rank bonuses you get with Spearmen because you don't want to rank these models up. You don't want to have large, thick blocks because then they can't shoot, as only the 1st and 2nd ranks can shoot. Here we've got crossbows on a hilltop facing down at Chaos Warriors. Now there's only 5 Chaos Warriors there and 10 crossbowmen, so you might think, oh, they've got them outnumbered. Those 5 warriors are nearly as expensive, taking the cheapest possible options, as the crossbowmen are. The difference being, those Chaos Warriors are going to get shot 2 or 3 times before they even get close enough to become effective. Combine that with the armor-piercing option on the crossbows, you're going to be just punching through their armor. That being said, you do need to hit them, and shooting faster does reduce your ballistic skill, so it becomes a harder shot to make. But it is entirely possible when you throw out 20 dice every turn, just firing away, and you're not going to have just one of these units. The way I go about it is 2 or even 3 or 4 of these units supporting one another, just firing volley after volley at incoming melee infantry, or raining down on artillery and other siege equipment further out in the distance. In this battle, this little example here, the crossbowmen would be able to shoot them twice at only -1 to their ballistic skill, because they are within their half range of 12 inches. So they only need 4s to hit. And not only that, if these Chaos Warriors then wanted to charge them, they'd get to shoot them again. It would be an additional -1 because they'd be standing and shooting when getting charged. But that right there, the ability to shoot not only once on your turn, but then again when they come after you, totally devastates infantry if you have a high ballistic skill or if you have lots of shots, which for Dark Elves, we have both. We have a solid ballistic skill and many shots to fire into them. So I'm going to give you a bit of an example about what kind of shooting that these crossbows can do. Here are 10 dice. This is how many shots. They get this twice. These shots twice at these Chaos Warriors. So they're going to fire away. They're going to fire twice. So they get all of these twice. First, they need to roll more than a 4 to hit because they are shooting twice. So they would normally need 3s at this range, but they're going to shoot twice, so they need 4s. So they fire away, and so far we have 5 hits. So keep that in mind. I'm going to put a little counter there. So we have 5, and then another 5 more. So a total of 10 hits altogether. Now with those 10 hits, you then have to roll the wound. So you'll roll the strength of your hit, which across repeating crossbow is strength 3. against the Chaos Warrior's Toughness of 4. So you're going to need to roll a 5 or more on these 10 dice. I only rolled 1, which you can guess that you roll more than those. But in this case, then that warrior needs to make an armor save. Now he failed it. He needed, because he has an armor save of 4 or more, but our shots are armor piercing, so he needs to roll a 5 or more. He only rolled a 3. So one of those warriors is slain right there. Then they try and charge those crossbows, and those crossbowmen are going to get to do that again. And if I had been a bit luckier, but I am the cooler, then it's entirely possible they would have gunned them down right then and there. This is to give you an idea of how deadly effective these crossbows are. Bringing large units or many units of these crossbows, you can totally devastate an enemy army. Even if they close the gap, even if they do charge you though, given the shield upgrade, your crossbow warriors are just as good as a spearman. And the only difference is they get to shoot. They are more expensive, and I understand that it's a big problem normally, but they're definitely worth the points. They are my favorite core until I get to try out some more Dark Riders using those more. But for now, I would definitely recommend crossbows. So those are my thoughts on Dark Elf Crossbowmen. Definitely effective, definitely worth their points. I would highly recommend bringing them. And just remember, if you do want to challenge myself or any of the other people here at MiniWarGaming, go to miniwargaming.com/challenge. I'll probably put that right here, and happy wargaming.